Call me a pessimist, but I think if you get drawn against Real Madrid in the first knockout round of the Champions League, you can pretty much guess that your journey's going to be over in that particular competition. How you doing all? Welcome to episode 18 of Let's Go Villa. I'm Stu. Thank you for joining me in today's video where, we've got Real Madrid in the second leg of the first knockout round of the Champions League because, of course we do. And then we're going to be playing against Manchester City in the Premier League as well. Maybe we could play them in the FA Cup instead. Now, we'll do the Premier League. We've won the FA Cup. We're not that bothered about that anymore. We've won it twice, in fact. Let's try something different. So we'll play them in the Premier League as well. And if you're looking forward to seeing how we do in both of those games, please do leave a like on the video there for me. And subscribe so you never miss any of the lovely Football Manager content that is to come in the future. Since we were last with you, it's been a good old while, actually. It was back in November, December time that you guys last saw our lovely team. I think it was the game against Borussia Dortmund where we won 2-0. Well, no, it would have been the Man City game afterwards, actually. So it was this period here. And then we've had, I mean, a wobble's probably the harsh way to put it, but things have kind of gone up and down here and there and everywhere. So, as you can see, beat Bournemouth. We did go out of the Carabao Cup in the quarter-final on penalties against Fulham, which was a bit disappointing, but then we did beat them 2-0 at Villa Park. And then we went through a bit of a weird period. You'll note that the formation has changed down here. I was getting a little bit fed up with certain games. We were just struggling to get through teams, in particular in this period here, as you can see. Chelsea beat them 2-1. Yes, we beat them, but it was very tight. And as you can see, 2 early goals from Smith Rowe, but then we really struggled after that. Raheem Sterling making it look a lot better for Chelsea than it was, but we've been lacking that killer instinct. Tammy with 1 goal. Tammy with 1 goal. Tammy with 1 goal. Yes, we battered Leicester, but we also let them get 2 goals. Spurs with a couple of goals, fine. That's when we changed the formation. We went back to the 4-2-3-1 we started last season with. And I thought, to begin with, I thought it looked okay. 2-0 against Spurs, 3-2 against United. Okay, we conceded 2 goals, but we scored 3, and it's Manchester United. Beat Brighton 1-0, beat Chelsea 2-1. This is where it took a turn. We lost our unbeaten run. We were unbeaten up until this Liverpool game, which is still baffling to think about. We were unbeaten up until this point, got battered 2-0. We were not at the races. We just could not get anything going in an attacking sense. Went back to the 4-3-3, beat Tranmere 3-0 in the FA Cup. I'll be honest with you, it was a disappointing game. We should have scored a lot more than that. It took to the 53rd minute for us to score. And then we lost 2-1 against Wolves, and that one was the painful one. Again, we were using the 4-3-3 we've used all season. It just didn't work for us for whatever reason. We then went back to the 4-2-3-1 for 3 games. And again, it's one of them. We were getting over the line to a degree, but we were just struggling. I mean, really lethargic in getting there. 1-0 against Fulham. 1-0 against Tottenham. Only the 2 against Crystal Palace. In fact, Crystal Palace wasn't even that game. It was Real Madrid, Fulham and Tottenham. The Fulham and Tottenham games were the 2 that really kind of worried me. To be fair, the Real Madrid game, delighted with. Very delighted indeed. 1-1 in that game at the Bernabeu is an incredible result. But then I had enough and I decided to switch the system back. So we went back to the 4-3-3 because there wasn't a noticeable improvement. We were doing the same thing we were doing with the 4-3-3 in and around this period. It was 1-0s, 2-0s, 2-1s, conceding a few goals here and there. I mean, we were on an incredible run. If I get rid of the friendlies, we were on an incredible... That's the wrong thing to do. That's what I meant to do, get rid of the friendlies. We were on an incredible run if you look. How many clean sheets are in here? Not every game, necessarily. But there's a large number of them. But it's around this period we start to concede a few more. And it just made us doubt ourselves a little bit. We've now gone back to the 4-3-3. I'm committing to the 4-3-3 for the rest of the season, especially after the Crystal Palace and the Bournemouth games. Crystal Palace in the 5th round, we did rotate the team a little bit, but 4-1 against Bournemouth made me feel a lot better. A couple of goals for Tammy, Buendia and Todibo. Very happy with that. But, I mean, you've seen, looking through this, the amount of goals Tammy has scored has been ridiculous. But he's been really wasteful as well. So there's a lot of these games where we could have had 3 or 4, and it's been really frustrating because he's either hit the post, the crossbar, shot wide, shot over. It's been really frustrating. So it is what it is. But he scored a lot of goals. And that leads us to today, where we're hoping he'll score a lot of goals against Real Madrid in the second leg at Villa Park. And this is the 11 we're hoping to take us to. Actually, no, before we do that, transfers, January, moves happened. Not many of them, but some of them did. We signed a bunch of young players. That's not what we're really concerned about at the moment. The biggest move that happens is one that I was not expecting to make, But it was this one here. I'm just going to move myself. Ollie Watkins has left the club. I initially did not want to do this, but we did it because the board actually took all of our transfer budget and wage budget off of us. We have hemorrhage money this season. That is something we need to be very aware of. The offer came in for Ollie Watkins, 50-something million in total. It says down here, actually, £51 million. 30 million of that up front, the rest in instalments. To me, it made sense. Let's get some money back in the club and we'll reinvest some of it, not all of it, in a replacement striker. And that's what we did. And we ended up going with, if I move the camera back, Ivan Toney, of all people. We signed Ivan Toney from Brentford, who really hasn't had the career that he's had in real life. He's still been good, don't get me wrong. Like, he had that really, really good season in the Championship, but only the 9 goals in the 21-22 season. The 22-23 season, did okay. Not spectacular, but in the Championship, he was absolutely killing it. So we brought him in as a backup striker, and to be fair, started 1, scored 1, assisted 1, 6 substitution appearances. He's actually done really, really well for us when we've needed him. It's not been often, and he is in as an impact sub. So I'm not too worried about the fact that he's going to get a bit of a wobbly if he doesn't play. That shouldn't be an issue, but he is more than good enough as a backup. And to me, he's more in the mould of a Tammy Abraham. Not quite as quick, but certainly more in the mould of a Tammy Abraham. And he's done a really good job so far, and hopefully he will continue to do that. Other than that, it's a bunch of loans. The biggest one, which I'm hoping will see his development, is Alvaro Carrillo's gone to Blackburn. I'm really hoping he turns into something, but if not, we can make £29 million on him. I'd be very happy with that. Very happy indeed. Also, can we just point out, I've made a transfer profit this season. We've spent 190 million, 261 million brought into the club. And somehow, some way, that's the state of our finances. There's a reason why I don't work with money. Anyway, on to the game against Real Madrid. Again, 1-1 after the first leg, and this is the 11 we're hoping will get us over the line and maybe get us through to the next round. If we do, it'll be sensational. It's Martinez in goal, Aarons, Konsa, Mings, Digne in defence, Aya, Gonçalves and Vitinha in the midfield with Buendia, Smith-Rowe and Abraham up front. Things we need to talk about. Gonçalves is back. He is here. He is fit again. He hasn't had a good game since he's come back, but he has only just come back and only just got fit. Vitinha did pick up a knock as well. He's come back and he's actually started really, really well since he's been back too. Emil Smith-Rowe has been sensational. He has really turned up. If you have a look at the ratings here, yes, okay. Last 3 games, not so good. 7.5 there, goal. Game before that, not so good. Missed the game before that, and then the game before that, not so good. 3 stellar games in a row though against United, Brighton and Chelsea. He's been a bit up and down still, but that little run there, I mean, he is one of the players who has the highest, I think he's got the highest man of the match things in the league, or he was on the list. He was on the list. I think he's going to be 4th or 5th or something like that, but he's had a sensational year. He's been very, very good for us, and he's looked the part every time we've needed him. Very, very good indeed. John-Claire Todibo suspended out of this game because he was a naughty boy and got too many cards. But other than that, we're good to go, I think. We are good to go. I'm a little bit spaced out and a little bit pausey, by the way. I do apologise. I'm doing this at like 1 o'clock in the morning after I finish work. Probably not the best time to record it, but it's the time I've got to record it. FM22 has come in. I need to record when I can. So let's see whether we can get a win against Real Madrid and try and get through to the next round. If we don't, I'm not going to be too sad. But after a 1-1 draw in the first leg, I think we've got it in us. Let's see whether we can do it, shall we? Let's go. I haven't actually stopped to look at where Real Madrid are in the Spanish league. I'm assuming they're going to be at the top of it, or at least near the top of it. More than likely they will, but I haven't actually stopped to have a proper look. I might try and do that at the end of the game and just see who we've played in terms of the hierarchy of Spanish football 3 years into the future. I'd like to think they're doing really, really well, because if they are, we've done really well against them at their place. We are playing the more defensive formation of the two that we've used recently. Saying that, though, I mean, they've both been, offensively speaking, the output has been about the same, and Tammy Abraham, just puts it wide. And I know I've already brought it up this season, and look, he's scored over 30 goals in all competitions. The man's had a great year. He's been superb. But the amount of times he gets a chance like that and puts it wide, like, his output should be so much higher. I mean, if I quickly go onto his player instructions, I see I haven't got it at the moment, but in the last game or so, I have had it on shoot less often, and it's just felt a little bit better. And it's felt a little bit more like we have, I mean, we've nearly we've nearly had this up while we've conceded a goal. Probably should pause the game. But we've had shoot less often on. And it's actually been really... I'm going to put it on. It's actually... I've cancelled it. Okay, we'll leave it as it is. Benzema scored. Benzema scored. We didn't go behind in the first leg. We led. We've now got a bit of a mountain to climb. I am going to change that instruction. I'm going to put him on less often. Because what it means is he won't shoot unless he's got a decent opportunity. So he might pass it to a teammate who's actually in a better position. Gonçalves is having a shocker, by the way. So is Max Aarons. This is not ideal. This is not ideal at all. But we've been on top. Okay, XG is not as good. Although it's not far off now, actually. But, right. Let's just try and... individual. Let's just make sure Wendy knows he needs to calm himself down. We have the ability to beat this Real Madrid team. I think we've shown that. But we need to show it a little bit more. Conte's had a bad game as well. Tadebo's been so good for us that when something like this happens, it's not good at all. Right, we've only got 3 substitutions as well. So we're not going to be able to make wholesale changes, which is a bit of a frustration. Right, Aarons has got to come off. Matty Cash can come on. I'm going to trust Ezri Konsa so that he can get back into the game. And Pedro Gonçalves, I'd love to keep him on. I would really love to keep him on. But, you know what? We'll give him 5 minutes. We'll give him 5 or 10 minutes. See if he can get himself back into the game. But we'll bring Matty Cash on. I'm just going to demand more from the boys. Because we know for a fact we've got it in us to beat this team. Which is ridiculous. Looking at them on paper, there should be no way. But we've seen them in that first half. And they really didn't threaten us that. Well, I say we've seen them. We didn't actually because I had that screen up in the way. I've seen them in that first leg at their place, and it was very much a case of they look very gettable, and I think they've looked it in this game. And Smith Rowe, it's been so good at that all season, and he's just unlucky that Courtois is there. And to be fair to Gonçalves, he has picked things up in this second half, and that is what I like to see. Tammy's having a decent game, even though he's not really got in on a goal. Right, we have a highlight, and it is Martinez to start. Gets it to Konsa. Konsa now breaking forward. It would be nice to see him get a decent rating. What a ball that is to Emi Buendia, who's going to get on the end of it. He's going to wait for Tammy. Tammy's there. Tammy fires it in. It's 1-1 on the night. 2-2 overall in the tie. Again, because it's late at night, I do have to be a little bit quiet. But we do now have a draw in this game, and we have a platform to try and build on. It's a wonderful ball up from Ezri Konsa, who was having a shocker up until that point. Buendia's crosses in, and it's into Tammy's feet, and Tammy manages to put it in the back of the net. Makes it 2-2 overall, 1-1 on the night. Game on. Game on indeed. And we start with a throw in the next highlights. Right, Pedro, who really has done well to recover in this half. We've not even said anything to him. Other than normal team talks, we've not said anything to him specifically, and he has recovered really well. Right, Smith Rowe tries to get it to Tammy. Can't quite get there. Militao cuts him out, and Cruz now looking for Kingsley Coman. Coman's broken through the defence. He's got a chance against Emi Martinez. He went for the cheeky chip, but Martinez is equal to it, and that will do plenty. Right, second substitution. Let's have a look at what we can do. I'm thinking it's Cole Palmer o'clock, if I'm honest, but then Buendia's having a good game. Buendia's having the better game of the two. Let's keep Buendia on. We'll take Emil off. Emil's been good for us this season, so this is not because he's not doing very well. It's just because we want to freshen things up a little bit. Bring someone else in. And Cole Palmer is just one of those players. Ezri Konsa, we're just going to demand a bit more from him because he has not had a good game at all. And I think we're going to be moving things around a little bit right about now. And I actually think, do you know what? Do you know who's not on the bench? Sander Berge. And I think it's because he was suspended, but I don't think he is anymore, so that's a mistake on my part, because I was going to move Aya down into defence. Okay, Thiat's going to come on. Thiat is good enough to do that. He's really played well for us when we've needed him to. That's the final change. We're going to encourage the boys for the last few minutes. Come on, boys. We have dominated this Real Madrid team. Absolutely dominated. We've all played Football Manager long enough to know what's probably about to happen. And I'm preparing myself for it. But Cole Palmer, the head is a wild one, so it doesn't really do anything. But Cole Palmer trying to do his best to intercept there. Eden Hazard now gets it into Karim Benzema. And Martinez with the save, but it's offside anyway. It's offside anyway, and we are going to be going to extra time here. It is extra time. Well, we have definitely been the better team since the half-time. Tammy's the tiredest. I don't really want to take Tammy off. I'm thinking for penalties. I don't really want to take Tammy off. So maybe we bring on Coutinho or Jacob Ramsey. Coutinho. I think it's Coutinho. Yeah, it's Coutinho. We'll keep Gonçalves on because he's had a good game. But Felipe Coutinho is the man coming on. And hopefully he can unlock a tired Real Madrid defence. We are taking a bit of a gamble with that one. But then we didn't have... I mean, what I would have liked to have done there is make sure our defence was as fresh as possible. But we've already used our defence again. I probably would have, if I had one more substitution, I would have brought Sander Berge on. Buendia might have just scored. And it's Cole Palmer with the assist. The referee's checking it for offside. It's 3-2 overall. It's 2-1 on the night. And it's Emi Buendia. Gonçalves involved with the goal. And the Cole Palmer substitution, I'm saying it's worked. I mean, it's a reach, but he's the one who gets the assist. It's good movement from him. Pedro as well. We kept him on the pitch. He did well to get it to Cole. And it is 2-1 on the night. 3-2 overall. But it's not over yet. It is not over yet. And we just have to hope we can hold on or maybe even get another one. How ridiculous would that be? How utterly ridiculous would that be? Right, Real Madrid trying to build from the back. Benzema has come deep into the midfield to try and make things happen. But Koeman gets to Valverde now looking for options. Koeman again looking for the big ball. Tries to get to Camavinga. Doesn't. And Cole Palmer now has the ball. And he's going to try and burst forward here. Cole Palmer just running down that right-hand flank. Cuts in on his left foot. Gets to Matty Cash. Matty into Coutinho. Coutinho back out to Cash. The other substitution, remember, Matty Cash. Whips it in. He's looking for Tammy. And Tammy Abraham, with his 32nd of the season, who I thought for a second about taking off and replacing with Ivan Toney, has just made it 3-1. I have been dreading this tie. I was dreaded the first one, and I've been dreading this one as well, because I've played Football Manager for the last... I've not played it for that long. I've played it for the last few years. And I've learnt very, very quickly that this game has ways of biting you. And, I mean, I can't do what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to defensive midfield. We're going to have to leave it as is. We'll change Gonçalves to that. We'll bring you back to... Oh, I can't really do that. Can you play there? No, you can play central midfielder. Right, well, we won't do that then. We'll leave things as they are. We'll just have you guys on support. We don't want you guys going too far forward. I can't even remember the point I was making. And, oh my word, it's 4. It's 4. And it's club captain Tyrone Mings. What is this life? I can't even remember the point I was making before we scored the third. And we've gone and scored a fourth. And we've just knocked out Real Madrid. Are you sure, game? Are you sure? I mean, it's not even close in the end on the night. We've absolutely dominated them. Well. Well. I mean, I have no words. I actually have no words. The downside of that is the team is going to be absolutely shattered now when I look at them. They're going to be absolutely dead. I mean, we're going to have a heavily rotated 11 for the Man City game. That much I can tell you for sure. Oh, boy. Right, speaking of which, we will be back for that Manchester City game in a moment. Again, I will come back for the Premier League one. I know we've already played them once in the Premier League this season, but we'll come back for this one. They're not going to be having Mahrez, not going to be having Morata. Both of them are registered for the Premier League. What is this life? He's not registered for the Premier League. He's just sitting in their reserves, rotting. What is this nonsense? And Morata as well. They signed Alvaro Morata and he's not registered either. What is that nonsense? We'll come back for that one, is my point. We'll come back for that one, and then we'll talk about what's going to happen coming up in the future. So, give me a minute, and hopefully I'll have a fresh team ready for the Man City game. We are back for the game against Manchester City, but before that, I thought, I haven't actually shown you the table properly. So, this is how things are after 29 games, before the 30th game against Manchester City, and it's been a roller coaster. So, around, I can't remember when it was, around January I think it was, we actually did hit top at one point. We were doing really, really well, if you remember. We were very, very close to Liverpool, and although it probably looks like we still are at the moment, a lot of things have happened. We got to the point where we were top with Liverpool having a game in hand. We then got to the point where we had a game in hand on them, and if we won it, we would go top outright. We ended up messing it up. Around that period where Wolves and Liverpool actually beat us, obviously Liverpool beating us was even worse. Around that period, that is when things kind of crumbled, and we fell about 10 points behind. But games in hand, Liverpool's form, our form, they all kind of have mixed together to the point where we're now only 4 points behind. Now, I'm not suggesting for a second that we're in a title challenge. We're not. But we are only 4 points off the top. It is what it is. Also, in terms of player stats, Tammy Abraham is the top goal scorer in the league. I know Erling Haaland's there. I don't think you can count Erling Haaland. He's a cheat code. So technically, Tammy's the best goal scorer in the league and also the best player. Just putting it out there right now. Cole Palmer is outright on assists as well with 14. And Emi Martinez currently top of the clean sheets chart with 18 as well. We've got a very, very good team. We've actually won only the second most in the league, but we've got the joint fewest losses as well. Again, those losses recently against the Wolves and Liverpool. But we're here about Manchester City, 4th place Manchester City, and this is the team we are going to be hopefully getting a good result with against them. That's the plan anyway. It's Martinez in goal, Cash, Todibo, Mings and Bjorkan in defence. Burge, Ramsey and Coutinho in the midfield with Palmer, Smith Rowe and Abraham up front. We have had to rest a couple of players. Tammy was going to be one of them, but I can't. I just can't. We're playing him. But we've left Coutinho out. Gonçalves is on the bench, and where is he? Digne's out completely as well. They all had tired next to their names, including Tammy Abraham. I would rest Tammy. I don't have it in me to do that. I would rather do it in the FA Cup, which we've already run in this save. We've already won in this save. I'd rather do it in that one rather than the Premier League. So we're just going to play him today, then we'll give him a week off, and then we'll reassess him. So let's see what happens in this game, and let's hope we don't have a European hangover. Let's go. I do have faith in us that on our day, we can beat anyone. I am adamant of that. I'm also adamant that asking us to be on our day, on any particular day, is something that isn't always going to be possible. So we'll take what we can get. If we can win this game, it would be great. It will really help us out in terms of not just trying to do a bit of a mock title challenge, but if we get second place, that's progression. That is real progression, and it shows that all of the money that we've spent has been very worthwhile. And Tammy Abraham, very, very close. We've put him on to shoot less again. It feels really counterproductive, but it does make a lot of sense because it does mean that the player in question is going to be thinking about his chances more. Unless it's a clear-cut chance, he's going to try and make sure that he is assessing everything properly. And I think Tammy is going to be it's really, really poor from the defender. Really poor. And Gonçalves is in there, but Todibo mops it up after Martinez makes the save. It's really, really poor. I think that was Tyrone Mings. He's somehow on a 7. I don't know. It could have been Todibo as well, to be fair. But on that side, it should be Tyrone Mings. But we get away with it. And we carry on. We've actually been really good in this game for the looks of things. 6 shots. The most possession. 7 shots, in fact. And we start with a goal kick for Manchester City. And hopefully we're going to nick it off them and score. That's the plan. It's a really poor ball from De Bruyne, and Coutinho's picked up a knock here, but Jacob Ramsey into Abraham, into Palmer. The former Man City man has gone and scored against Manchester City. And I think he's celebrating as well. Their little so-and-so, the little toe rag, but he's gone and celebrated anyway, but we end up intercepting, as I said I hope we would. Coutinho with an injury gets to Ramsey, Ramsey to Abraham, Abraham to Palmer, and the former Man City wonder kid goes and scores against his former club. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. We need to have a look at the injury to Coutinho and see how serious it is. I think we'll take him off at half-time, just be on the safe side. Gonçalves is in again here, and Martinez makes the save again. Yet again, though, no sign of Amine Gouiri, which is a bit of a surprise because they signed him for a decent chunk of money. And they took him off of us. I'm kind of glad that we didn't get him in the end. But yeah, no sign of Amine Gouiri, which is a bit of a surprise. I'm sure there's a reason for it. Maybe he's suspended. Maybe he's out of form. Maybe he's injured. I don't know. I just don't know. But Manchester City can spend that kind of money on that player and not even worry about... I mean, they don't even have Mahrez in their squad. They don't even have Morata in their squad. Why they signed Morata to begin with, I don't know. That feels like a bit of a crazy one. What a sliding tackle that was. But Rodri, I think that one is, managed to intercept. But we managed to get the ball back. And Smith Rowe gets it into Tammy. Tammy Abraham now goes for the shot. And he's completely done the goalkeeper. And we're 2 ahead on the stroke of half time. Well then. It's another interception. Bjorkan was just awake and Smith Rowe with a beautiful pass. And Tammy just sees Ederson off his line and just goes for it. And Ederson is rooted to the spot. And Tammy puts it in the back of the net. And it is 2-0. It is 2-0. Now, is there time for Manchester City? Massimo Allegri's Manchester City. Is there time for them to get a goal back? I think there is, yes. It's Nicolas Gonzalez. Erling Haaland with the assist. It's 2-1. We're still in the lead, but all of a sudden, we have to be a bit more careful. I mean, 2-0's that weird score anyway. You can never really bank on a 2-0 because things like that can happen. At least it's happened before we can get comfortable. So we know we need to go out there and try and score again. But it is going to be well, it's not going to be half time. We've got another highlight here. And Manchester City are on the ball. Are they going to equalise before we even get to half time? Or are we going to capitalise on another bit of loose passing? Gonzalez is in again here, and we need to be really careful with Gonzalez because he is just getting in behind our defence like no one's business. We'll say that one. I am very pleased with how we've done. We're going to tell Smith Rowe to calm himself. We're going to tell Matty Cash and Todibo that they need to step up their game. Anyone else need to step up their game? I think they're the main ones. We are going to drop the defensive line back by 1. I wouldn't normally do that. The reason, and I'm going to put our offensive line up 1 actually as well. The reason I'm going to do that is because I'm worried about how much they're getting in behind. Right, Coutinho, what injury is it? Foot injury. You're coming off, son. Simple as that. Aya's going to come on. We're going to swap him and Sander Berge. I'm going to have Sandra Berge. He's not much of a playmaker. I mean, he's got 12 flair. His passing is all right. His vision is all right. He'll do a decent job there. But we're going to bring him on just as another body in the midfield. And I think a defensive body there isn't going to hurt at all. And if we need to go to the 2 holding midfielders, we can. Jacob Ramsey can do a job as the central midfielder on attack. We'll leave it at that for now. We're going to give Matty Cash and Jean-Claire Todibo a chance to recover. I think they can. Let's get into the second half, shall we? What a game of football this has been. What an episode this has been. My goodness. Oh, it's too late in the evening for such wonders like this. XG wise, we are just ahead, and we are ahead on chances and possession as well. I would very much like us to get a third. That would make me feel a lot better. Liverpool currently winning as well, 1-0 against Leicester. Lozano with the goal for them, and it is about that time that we start to make some substitutions. No highlights in this second half, interestingly enough. No highlights at all. Todibo has massively recovered, but Matty Cash has not. So Max Aarons is going to come on for the final part of the game. And Bjorkan actually has not had a very good game. So actually, we're going to move Tyrone Mings out there to the left-back position. We're going to bring Arthur Theat on. So 2 changes there defensively. Means we have got 2 left. So Emile Smith-Rowe, I would like to keep on because he's on a good rating. But he has got that yellow card. So I don't know. I mean, looking at the bench, who could we bring on? We could bring on Buendia, to be fair. We could actually bring on Buendia. Do we bring him on for... I mean, I don't really want to take any of those guys off. That's the problem. I'm quite happy with all of them and how they're playing. I am quite happy with all of them. I'll tell you what we'll do. Jacob Ramsey's not had the best game, so we're going to bring on Buendia, and we're going to move Smith Rowe to Mazzala, which we have done a few times, and he is a decent player there. Just going to hope that yellow card doesn't come back to bite us, but we'll do that, and we'll have a fresh attacker. Just try and add a little bit of spice to the attack, and see whether we can try and steal another goal. That'd be incredible. Can you imagine? I'm imagining it. I don't know whether it's possible, but can you imagine? John Stones has given it away, and Tammy's in here, but he's meant to be the man in the middle. He nearly gives the ball away, but we end up with it. Smith Rowe goes for the worldie. Emile Smith-Rowe, I take back any doubts I had about you. Any doubts at all. What a strike that is. The curve on that. What a strike. I wanted a third. We've got a third. It's 3-1. I need a moment. That's incredible. That's actually incredible. Do we have any more subs left, or did I make all of them? 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got one left. Right. Oh my word, what did we do? I mean, it's not going to be Smith-Rowe. He's earned his reprieve there, quite frankly. Tammy's going to come off, because Tammy made that goal. He gets a rest, and we're going to bring on Ivan Toney. Ivan can come on for the last 10 minutes. He's a solid enough player. He can just do a job for us in the last 10 minutes. Right, they've gone to a 4-2-3-1 attack. We are going to see out the last few minutes with the defensive formation. I really need to get this as one of my tactics at the top, but we are going to do this. Done it a few times in the past. It's been a while since I've felt the need to do it, but we are going to do it here. And we are just going to make these guys on support instructions as well. We have got a corner as well, Wendy. Can you imagine if he whips this in? Same as the Real Madrid game, can you imagine? Right, we've got a highlight here. I was going to do a couple of tactical tweaks. Right, Liverpool have gone 2 ahead. So we're not going to close the gap, but we are going to keep the gap the same. Right, Buendia is in the box here, looking for options. Ivan Toney's in, and Ivan Toney has a chance, and Ederson has to hoof it clear. Absolutely has to hoof it. Right, I'm going to make these changes because I'm never going to do it otherwise. We are just going to do the usual things that we would do. And dropping that line back has absolutely helped in this game. I don't think we've seen them have that many serious chances since we dropped the line back. I think that was the right thing to do. Gonzalez kept getting... Was it Gonzalez? I think it was Gonzalez. Kept getting in behind our defensive line. And the second we've dropped that line back, it has really, really helped us out. And they have really, really struggled to try and make anything with our defensive line being a bit further back. And there you can see a great example. Thiat was further back. Managed to read the run from Haaland and dealt with it beautifully. Right, Burge into Toney. Toney's head is just a bit poor though, and that is going to be because he is not used to playing with our team. Right, Mings to Burge, and we're just going to control this for the last few minutes. Well, not even the last few minutes, the last few seconds, because that is 94 minutes. And Mings gets the ball out beautifully. He actually managed to get it off the Man City player. We have a throw. He's going to take as much time as he needs to, and that is going to be a huge 3 points for Villa against Manchester City. And there it is. And there it is. It looked like there might be a comeback when Man City got that goal on the stroke of half-time. But my word, what a performance that is. Problem is now, we've got them in the FA Cup, and I've got a feeling they're probably going to batter us. The gap is still 4 points at the top. The goal difference is still 10. But we've maintained what was there already, to be honest. And I'm very, very happy with that. In terms of goals, I mean, Liverpool scored one more near the end just to open up that goal difference a little bit more, which is a bit of a concern. Man City down to 5th place. They are having a shocker this season. Absolute shocker. Coutinho's injury, couple of days. That'll do. And Abraham is set up for a goal bonus. 25 league goals. He's scored more than that, hasn't he? No, 24. He scored more than that in all competitions, to be fair. I mean, 27 and 24. I mean, he's got 30 goal assists in 27 games. That's ridiculous. But he's got 4 goals in 4 cup competitions. He's got 5 goals in 8 Champions League competitions. He scored 8 in 8 in England duty. I couldn't think of my words then because I'm so staggered by it. Signing of the save. I mean, I want it to be Cole Palmer. It's not. It's this guy. He's been absolutely incredible. Right, when will we be back? I don't even... Oh. I'm not going to lie to you. That's gone far better than I thought it was going to go. Like, seriously, I thought we were going to get absolutely smashed in both of those games. And in the end, we've battered 2 teams that are actually better than us. I ain't going to complain. Right, well, I mean, we're going to come out for the quarterfinal of the Champions League. It's obvious that we're going to do that. We're going to do the same thing that we did last season, which is we're going to come back for the quarterfinal, and then we're going to see what happens. If we go out in the quarterfinal, which is possible, we'll come back for Burnley or Newcastle. We'll come back from one of these 2 games. If we go through, however, we'll come back for the semi-final second leg as well. That feels like the fairest thing to me to do. whatever tactical issue we had, whatever thing there was with the squad about not scoring as many goals and just not looking quite right, I think it's safe to say after those 2 results, we've solved the problem. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed today's video, please do leave a like on it and subscribe so you never miss any lovely Football Manager content from yours truly. I've been Stubo, you guys have been awesome, and I will see you next time. Cheers.